Hey guys, yeah, you can see that I got a little bit more light right now, and let me just adjust this there. There we go. A little bit more light. So I thought I'd talk about this because this is something that's kind of been bothering me a little bit. Um, for any of you that do watch the college football playoffs, or the college football bowl season in the playoffs, if you will, you may have noticed that several 5 and 7 teams have gotten into the college bowls this year. Now, this isn't uncommon. This is something that originally would be a rare occasion. Like, okay, you don't have enough teams qualified, so you have to throw in at least maybe one of 5 and 7 team to fill the void for at least one minor bowl, sub major bowl or whatever. And to me, I'd always thought that when you're 5 and 7, you're not supposed to be eligible for anything. You're supposed to be okay. You're 5 and 7. You're done. You're just gonna have to wait another year to do better. But apparently, there's a new system that's been worked out, I guess, where the schools can basically now get their teams into a bowl if they are uh, even if they are 5 and 7, but if they have a good enough APR, and that's basically academic wise. So you could be 5 and 7 and be a team that goes up against maybe a 6 and 7, a 6 and 6, or a 7 and 6 team, or a 9 and 3 team, and and people pretty much would look at you like, oh, they're going to get beat easily. I don't know why they're in it. Um, I could see, some people reacting that way because quite honestly, you know, this this kind of shows, and I think one person pointed this out because I got thrown for a loop this year. One of the bowl games that was broadcast today or tonight, while I was working, and I caught a glimpse of it before I left for work, was the Arizona Bowl, originally the Cactus Bowl. And I looked at the two teams involved, and it really didn't dawn on me at first until I realized that both are Mountain West Conference teams. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, both are Mountain West Conference teams. That rarely, if ever, happens. That rarely, if ever, happens in college sports, especially college football. I mean, they did acknowledge the last time it happened was around the 1970s, and that was in the Orange Bowl. But still, it's like it's a rare occasion. It's something that never really should be happening, as much as it does. So, with that said, a lot of people, several people, at least one person, commented that this basically means the bowl system is broken and it needs to be fixed. Um, I totally agree with that. It does need to be fixed. And let me turn this off for a second. Still a little too hot. There we go. Sorry about that. But I do agree it needs to be fixed. Um, there is there is no doubt about that. It needs to be fixed. And it's not because of the fact that it's a flawed system. Lord knows it is at times. But how do I put this? This is a system that needs to be worked on greatly. You know, I've come out and I've said numerous times, even I said it when I talked about the college bowls this year. I've said that I'm pretty much not in favor of the elite bowls, if you will, like the basically what they call the New Year's Six, or as I look at it, the Rose Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, Orange Bowl, Sugar Bowl, the Fab Four of the college bowl season. the main four of the college bowl season being used as along with two sub-major bowls, if you will, in the Peach Bowl and the Cotton Bowl, um, as as playoff locations. I'm not really in favor of that. I mean, I look at it like this. If you want to do a college playoff, that's fine with me. That's fine. But take a page out of the FCS. Allow the top seeded schools to host, their opponents. Like instead of Clemson and Oklahoma on Thursday facing off in the Orange Bowl, let them face off at Clemson. Let them face off on the campus of Clemson. Let them do that. And then let the winner of that move on to the national championship in Phoenix, Arizona. It makes more sense. The same with, Michigan State and Alabama. Have Michigan State go to the Crimson Tide's home stadium, in Alabama, and, have them play each other there for a shot at going to the national championship. Now you might say to yourself, well, what about the other games? What about the other bowl games that are scheduled to be used? What happens to them? Well, I look at it this way. The Orange Bowl is one of the main, if not the most talked about, if not probably more well known of the Fab Four. Well, along with the Rose Bowl, is one of the two more well known major bowl games, main event wise, that there is on New Year's Day. So I think as a constellation, the losers of those two games should meet in the Orange Bowl. Should meet in the Orange Bowl. That's what I think they should do. They should basically meet in that marquee bowl game as a constellation. Because at least you're not using it as a playoff site. I mean, yeah, I get the fact that the winner becomes the Orange Bowl champion and the Cotton Bowl champion. I get that. As well as in addition, they move on for a shot being the national champion. I get that too. But I just think it'd be better, well suited if, like I mentioned when I talked about the college bowl schedule this year, it'd be better, well suited if Oklahoma went to Clemson, faced them on their home turf, and the same with Michigan State. If they went to Alabama and faced them on their home turf, it makes more sense, and it opens the door for other teams that could qualify to be part of these marquee bowl games to be put in there. I mean, there's a lot of teams that are in bowl games this year, but are not in the bowl games they feel that they're more suited for, or they deserve to be, or they've earned the right to be in. And opening that door, and by opening that door, by doing it in a way that makes more sense, to me, would really benefit those teams. I mean, come on, think about it. Think about it this way. Oklahoma State, pretty much faced Oklahoma for the Big 12 championship in a regular season finale. Oklahoma State deserves to be in the Cotton Bowl. Yes, they're in a bowl game. I got to look it up. I think it's I got to look it up again. But they're in a major bowl game this year. They are. But don't you think they, along with maybe, I don't know, Houston or Florida State, would rather be in the Cotton Bowl this year instead of being in the other bowl game that they're in? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Because I think it would make more sense. I really do. And again, I'm not trying to say that what they're doing here isn't flawed. Maybe in their eyes it isn't. But to me, I think it's something that needs to be worked on, and it needs to be worked on in a way that opens the doors for these other college football teams to get into these marquee bowl games. And you're not using these marquee bowl games, I should say, as, a filler, every other year, for a semifinal, a playoff game, with the attraction that, oh, the winner not only moves on to the national championship, but they're also becoming the champions of that bowl game. You can't do that. You got to say, okay, look, Clemson's number one. Let's have them. They've earned the right to be number one, and they've earned the right to host a playoff game at home. Same with Alabama. So I think, honestly, in my opinion, that's what they should do. And this is why I do agree with some people when they ask the question, and the title will be shown down below: is the bowl system broken? Is the college bowl system broken still? And I think it is, because if you're allowing 5 and 7 teams in here, even with APR or not, you're pretty much saying, hey, you could be a losing team and everything, but we'll let you in. And you know what that does? Honestly? You look at all these other schools out there. That have an APR, decent APR, that could get them in, and they're on the outside looking in. They're like, well, what about us? Why aren't you putting us in? You see, that to them is insulting when you don't do that. And to me, I think this is one of the things that needs to be fixed. It really does. And then when you have the same schools from the same conference meeting each other in a bowl game, you're pretty much making that bowl game just a regular season game, but most importantly, you're making it an additional regular season finale game, and you need to fix that too. So, is the bowl system still broken? Honestly, in my opinion, yes, because there are several things. I do agree that you cannot have the same schools from the same conference meeting each other in a bowl game because you have no other teams to put in there. The 5 and 7 deal, hey, it's a great idea, gives other schools an opportunity, but guess what? You're also alienating the other schools that may have a more decent or same kind of ARP. You're alienating those schools instead of giving them a chance. I mean, you could have put one of those schools in the freaking Arizona Bowl, and either put Arizona and Nevada someplace else. But you didn't do that. So to me, it's more along the lines that this bowl system needs to be fixed, and it needs to be fixed pronto. And in addition to that, on top of all that, in my opinion, if you're going to do a college playoff system, that's fine, but do it in a way that makes sense. Do it in a way to where the top 2 teams in your Final Four host the semifinal games, and then the winners of those semifinal games go on to the national championship, while the losers of the game get a constellation of meeting each other in the more marquee bowl game of the two being used of the two that would be used as a playoff, as the side of a playoff, basically being used as the site for a semifinal playoff game. Let the losers of the game of those 2 matchups meet in the more marquee game, in this case being the Orange Bowl, and then you open the door for the Cotton Bowl to be used by other schools. Used for other schools to participate in. Schools that basically feel their teams deserve a shot at being in these higher marquee bowl games. So, that's just my opinion on it. But what else am I going to say, huh? I mean, to me, I think it's something that needs to be done. It needs to be fixed. And again, like I say, the top 3 things: make sure you don't have no more same conference schools meeting in bowl games. If you're going to use the 5 and 7 deal, make sure you don't alienate any other 5 and 7 teams or schools that might have a decent APR. And 3, if you're going to do a college playoff system, make sure you do it in a way that doesn't, in my opinion, just cast aside the importance of bowl games like the Cotton Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Fiesta, the Sugar, the Peach, you name it. It doesn't toss them away, and it opens the door for other teams that feel that they should be in that position, just as much as the teams that are competing in the playoffs in those areas. So that's just my thought on it. What's your thought? Do you think the college bowl system needs to be fixed? And do you agree with some of my suggestions of how they should fix it? Let me know down below, comment if you like, and I'll talk to y'all later.